All right, Shalom. This is the brother Gamal YAHAWAH out of Great Millstone ATL camp, giving all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. All right, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the Hakim that are pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, this is a quick video. I basically had two people knock on my door earlier, evangelizing. All right, and it was actually two Christians. Two Christians knocked on my door, and I typically don't really get into debates or stuff like that. But I mean, every now and then, you just want a little bit of practice. Last week, I had two Mormons knock on my door, and so I dealt with them as well. But today was two Christians. I don't know what it is about my neighborhood, but a lot of people try to come teach the Bible. All right. So anyway, I was dealing with the guy. All right, and immediately he said something. He said something trying to save the children of God. All right. So I was like, all right, who is the children of God? All right, and he actually brought up in Exodus, I forget what precept he brought out, but he said, he basically brought out that the children is Israel. He said the children of God is Israel. All right, which I was like, okay, okay, you're right, but where are you going with it, And then he tried to say that in the New Testament, he tried to say that in the Old Testament, all right, that the Most High was basically dealing with Israel, but in the New Testament, all right, he was dealing with everybody, and that's what the whole New Testament was about, and that's what a lot of Christians preach, because they believe that I mean, they can't deny the fact that the Most High is dealing with Israel. All right, so what they try to do is say that he was only dealing with Israel exclusively in the Old Testament, right? And then or no, he says, well, yeah, that's what they do, the Old Testament. But then really he was like the New Covenant. He brought up the New Covenant, and they said that the New Covenant was with anyone. That's the point that these Christians try to make. All right, and basically this video was basically going to be centered around cutting that whole idea. All right, so we went into the New Covenant, which he actually brought this out. He went into Jeremiah 31 and 31, all right, which talks about the covenant, all right. And another thing I want to bring out too is the fact that Christians, they just read the Bible, all right. They read the Bible, but they don't read it for understanding, okay. That all they do is just read the Bible, but it goes completely over their head because they don't have the Spirit. They lack the Spirit, and they lack the proper breakdowns of the scriptures. They can't break it down because and it makes you realize the Lord, how much the Lord really blinded people. All right, because they'll read over certain things and it's like, okay, like you don't understand what that's saying, Anyway, this is Jeremiah 31 and 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, okay, which my covenant they break. All right, so that right there, they broke the covenant. All right, Israel wasn't keeping the laws. Okay, they weren't keeping the promise. They weren't keeping. They didn't uphold their promise to the Most High. All right, because guess what? We're not justified through the law. Okay. All right, we're justified through faith, and that's what the new covenant is about. But it's gonna go into it. It says, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord. but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Okay? So this is what we were reading right here. This is what the guy brought out, and it, I guess he just didn't connect for him. But it says, but this is the covenant. This shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my inward parts and write it. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts. And and will be their God, and they shall be my people. All right. So, I asked the guy to break that down, and he couldn't break it down. He just kept dodging the question. Okay. He kept saying, first he made the claim that, like I said, he made the claim that the Most High was dealing with Israel, and then he said, but in the new covenant, he's dealing with everybody, which that makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense, because right here it says, this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. So this is the new covenant. See? This is talking about the new covenant. After those days, saith the Lord, which this hasn't happened yet, I will put my law in their inward parts. All right? So what does that mean? He's going to put it in our spirit. And that's what I was telling the guy. I said, it's no longer going to be a thing of keeping the law. It's just going to be a thing about if you have the spirit or not. Okay? Because on this side, we can't keep the law perfectly. All right? But what the Lord is saying is that he's gonna put it in our spirit to automatically keep the law. Right? And he said, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. I know it says, I skipped the part. It says, and write it in their hearts. And I also brought out how the word heart, all right, when you go into the Hebrew, it means la'ab, which means your mind. So the law will already be in your mind, okay? You're automatically going to keep the law. And this is being fulfilled this is being fulfilled or at this very time through the elect, okay? Because the elect, we're the ones that are spiritually, we're the ones where the law is in our spirit, okay? All right, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. All right, so I was explaining to the guy that yeah, everything that I just said. All right, and he just tried to jump around. Where did he go? He went to a completely other subject, and he kept avoiding my question. And then, I also made the point. I said the Lord is the same today, forever, yesterday, today, and forever. All right, which is what the scriptures say. And I said, so what? I kept asking him this question. So what changed between then and now? Okay, from the Lord dealing with Israel, right? I said, what changed between back then and now? And I said, give me a precept on that. All right, and he couldn't deal with it. All right, he basically just kept jumping around, trying to jump around and avoid the question. All right, and then I think he brought out a precept in Hebrews, but it basically didn't connect to the actual point. All right, so that was pretty much it. But this is what cuts the man. All right. I'm gonna go into Galatians 3:11. Start at 10. For as many as are, for as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. See. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all the things which are written in the book of the law to do them. So basically that means it's basically you're not justified by the law. Okay? It's basically saying that everyone who tried to keep the law, they failed at it. All right? With the exception of YAHAWASHI. It says, for as many are as of the works For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, Cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. Alright, so if you don't keep the law, you're pretty much cursed, okay? But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High. See? It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And that's the new covenant. Alright? That's the new covenant, is that no man, you don't get salvation through keeping the law. You get salvation through faith, okay? Through your faith. And it says, and the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live by them. See? So the law isn't of faith, but if you do them, then you pretty much have faith. You know, it goes hand in hand. It doesn't mean don't keep the law because you know, we have faith. All right, it says, and the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live by them. See, so you're still gonna keep the law. Christ had YAHAWASHI hath redeemed us from the curse of the law. All right, being made a curse for us. So it says, YAHAWASHI hath redeemed us from the curse of the law. So we were cursed under the law. All right. See, no one could keep the law. All right, and that's why Israel just kept perpetually going off. Okay, being made a curse for us, for it is written, Cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. That the blessing of well, that was pretty much. I'll keep going. That the blessing of Abraham might come through the Gentiles, all right, which is the foreigners, through YAHAWASHI, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. And that's what the new covenant is that you receive the promise of the Spirit, all right? Just like how the Most High said he was going to write the law in our inward parts. That means that he's going to put it in your spirit, all right? He's going to put it in your mind, right? He said he's going to put it in your hearts. Okay, he's going to put it in your spirit and in your mind to keep the law. All right? And then this fucking idiot, he said, I know what he did. He went into, he tried to say, he went into, I think he went into Matthew. He went to the book of Matthew, and he said that he brought up YAHAWASHI and them that shall eat the blood, them that shall eat my blood. All right, and this fucking retard, he tried to say that you keep the new covenant by keeping the Passover. All right. He said you keep the new covenant. No, slack it. He said you keep the new covenant by eating his flesh, which represents you know, the Spirit. All right, and drinking the blood. Okay. All right. He said that basically just a grape juice drinking fucking Christian. Okay. But he tried to say that you get, that's the new covenant. You have to keep the new covenant. That's what he said. The ones that keep the new covenant are the children of God. I believe he said that out of his mouth verbatim. And you know, that's not true. All right, because as you see in Jeremiah 31:31, it says he's going to put it in our inward parts. So that if the Lord is putting it inside you, all right, if he's putting it in your spirit to keep the law, all right, and to have faith, right, then what the hell is he talking about? All right, then you know, there is no basically there is no keeping the new covenant, all right, because the Lord is putting it in your spirit to quote unquote keep the new covenant, right? Or to uphold the law and to have faith. All right, continue. Galatians 3:14. I'm gonna read it again. That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through YAHAWASHI, that we might receive the promise of the faith through fear. That we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. See? So this we get the Spirit. We receive the promise of the Spirit, all right, which is the keeping of the law, which is just the Spirit of Yahawashi, the Spirit of prophecy, the Spirit of righteousness, all right, and we receive that through faith. So this thing is all about faith. See, and the Most High is going to put that Spirit on you, all right, to have faith and to keep the law, all right. But see, these Christians that read the Bible, they don't have any understanding of it, all right. So they're not able, they read over things. And I kept telling the guy, because I said, I will put, when it says, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, I kept asking him, I was like, break that down. And he kept avoiding my question. And he didn't want to deal with it. Okay? He tried to answer, I told him to break it down, and he basically tried to answer and respond to me with a question. See? So it says Romans 3. I'm gonna go to Romans 3:31. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid, but we established a law. See? So faith is, it's not just about faith, all right? We established a law, okay? But through faith, you're going to keep the law. See? Because through faith, we receive the Spirit, okay? It said that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. See? So we receive the Spirit through faith, and then we receive the law through faith. See? Do we then make the law? Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid, but we established the law. So if you have faith, you're gonna keep the law. All right. See? So it all boils down to faith, because you're gonna have the Spirit through faith, and you're gonna keep the law through faith. It all connects. All right. This is Romans 6:1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? All right. So should we continue in sin? All right. Should we continue to just live in wickedness? All right. That grace, because sin is transgression of the law, right? So shall we increase in transgressions of the law that grace may abound? All right. It said, Most High forbid. All right. How shall we that we are dead to sin live any longer therein? See? So we don't continue, because we know that grace, we have grace and we have faith. Does that mean we just go off? No. Because if you have faith, you're going to keeping the law as a result of your faith. See? Because if you have the faith in the Most High, then you're going to keep the law. All right? If you have grace, all right? We don't just go off because we have grace. Otherwise, it's not really grace. See? How shall we that we are dead to sin live any longer therein? All right? Know ye not that so many of us were baptized into Yahawashi, that were baptized into his death? See? So, which that's a spiritual baptism. See? Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death. All right? That like as Yahawashi was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk in the newness of life. So, we are alive, all right, and we were brought into life through Yahawashi's death. Okay. It says that like as Yahawashi was raised up from the dead, So the same way we will be raised up by the glory of the Father. All right. Even so, we should walk in the newness of life. So you have to walk. All right. You have to have faith and keep the law and walk in the newness of life. Basically, become a new man. All right. So that's pretty much it on that lesson. Lord willing, brothers were edified. And all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Shalom.